Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Racing Bros NASCAR Podcast, episode 26. Yeah, we've done 26 of these. I don't know why, but we're continuing on. Brian, how are you doing today, sir?
I am good, man. How are you?
All right, a little different than our usual segment. Usually I'd be like, pretty good. All right, we're going to talk about, like, real life shit, because I feel like it. So if you guys don't like it, just let me know. But I'm going to talk about real life shit. So I was making dinner earlier, okay? And so we record the podcast at like 6. Like around 6 o'clock. Sometimes me and Brian talk, and it's usually like 8:30. But then, no, but we usually go around like 6, 6:15, really at the latest, usually around 6. So I'm like cooking dinner a little bit before, like around 4, and then my dad calls me. He's like, "Oh, we got your kitchen table. Like it's a little extra table for our kitchen, so we can have like put like kitchen like shit on there or microwave or have extra counter space because I do live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so the counter space is god awful." So I'm like, okay, we'll take an extra table, extra space. I can actually have, another space to put shit and then not on the floor. So, anyways. He calls me around like 4:10. He's like, "Oh yeah, be there in a little bit. I know your podcast usually starts at 6. Gotta take a shower. I gotta finish the rest of dinner." I'm like, "All right, no problem. Small little table." He decides to come at like 5:10 or 5:50. 10 minutes to 6. I'm like, "Dude, could you not come a little sooner?" Like he lives 15 minutes away from me, and he decides at the last minute to like come at like 5:50, and I gotta rush to basically get all ready, shower, boop boop boop, get all the podcast stuff ready, and then go and record with Brian because I do also stream later today too. So I want to get it done before then, upload podcast, and then stream. So I had a little bit of rushing to do before. I'm like, "Dude, could you not like?" I didn't even care if you came at like 5 or even 5:30 at the real latest, but like. He gave me 10 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I know we don't got a contract. Like, we have to record at 6. It's just, like, nice to get it out the way. But I'm like, dude, come on. Like, could you give me a little extra time? And then, also, during this, my freaking power went out because we had, like, a huge rainstorm where we live. Me and Brian both live in the same city. We're about 15 minutes away, but we're still technically the same city. So we were both having kind of rainstorm. I don't know if his power went out. But, Brian, did your power go out at all, or did you have any power issues?
No, it flickered a couple times, but honestly, I think the storm or even the winds would have to pick up a little bit for our power to go out. Because it's actually decent here now, which is really, really nice.
See, my power is god-awful. A puddle.
Yeah.
Will make it freaking turn off. But then it'll only turn off once. And then, like, the rest of the time, I've noticed, like, it'll be in the middle of a hailstorm, literally 80-mile-an-hour winds, and my power is just like, oh, yeah, we're fine now. We just need a little reboot. So, it's always been weird. Anyways, it's a little, I guess, in life. Oh, and then Olive Garden. I don't know if you guys been to Olive Garden since this like pandemic started, but their breadsticks are terrible. I don't know what happened to them. No, like legit.
Their food has not. It has no offense to Olive Garden, but their food has not stayed the same since the pandemic started.
I mean, like what my girlfriend had. She had chicken Alfredo and stuff, and she said that was good. And then I had like the 5 cheese stuffed shells, and they were pretty good. Like that's what I expected for Olive Garden. Pretty decent food. I'm not expecting fucking 5-star restaurant quality. Like 3.5.
Right.
But yeah, we had their breadsticks. I literally spit it out. I was like, this is god awful. I literally pushed it. I told the lady, I'm like, I pushed it at the end of the table. I'm like, take those away. She's like, you guys don't want breadsticks? I'm like, no. I'd rather lick a fucking empty plate, to be honest. So, breadsticks are terrible at Olive Garden, if you guys wanted to know. And we have power outage, and my dad wants to show up like literally right before the thing starts. He's always done that, like since I've been like born. Like whenever we would go to like a party or something, like he would literally show up, or like an event. He would literally like, it would start at like 6 o'clock. He would like roll in at 5:59, and I hate that. That is not me. I would rather be like an hour early than like late at all, because I have like really bad anxiety with that. Or like right on time. Like I'll be like, oh my god, it's like right on time for me. I'd be like, oh my god, it's like 5:55, and like getting like a lot of anxiety with that. So then like my anxiety just spikes when it's like right on time. But of course he's like fine. He's just cool. He's like, oh yeah, here you go, table. See you. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like freaking out. But yeah, it's like real life shit. But anyways, we'll get on to the race. So Watkins Glen, my friends. We haven't been back to Watkins Glen since 2019. I think the race was pretty good, to be honest. Brian, you want to try kind of start us off? No? Fill in some gap.
So Watkins Glen, I gotta say, immediately, was honestly better than I expected it to be, judging by, you know, how we've had these road courses so far this year.
Best road course all year.
Bad. Yeah, it's not that they've been bad. It's just like I expected it to be the same almost. No, it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, it seems like Watkins Glen is way less technical than the other ones, and this like is the most kind of stock car friendly road course on the schedule. Like, I mean, Watkins Glen is pretty basic, to be honest. I mean, it's like straight, turn, straight, turn, straight, turn.
Yeah, it's catering to the stock cars,
like
specifically.
Sonoma's like super technical. It's like turn, uphill, turn, downhill, turn, downhill again, turn, and then like in the carousel it's like huge turn, straightaway, hard braking, right, S's. It's like left, right, and you know, with our big heavy cars, that does not work. So Watkins Glen is like kind of super easy, to be honest, compared to the other ones. I mean, think of Coda, like all those S's, and then, you know, hard brake to the left, and then huge straightaway, and then hard brake. Like, you know, our cars are like, what the hell is this? But then like Watkins Glen's pretty like, I guess, basic to the other road courses. So this one's like, I would say would be like the most stock car friendly. I can't wait to see what the next gen's, because that should be fun then.
Hopefully.
Yes.
So starting off at the Glen.
Mr. Glen.
Mr. Glen. We had some issues. Ryan Newman ended up spinning himself out off the track, which, I mean, is going to happen eventually. Keselowski too hard into a corner and spins into turn 6, which, oh man, that was just the start of it. Later in the race, he ends up spinning and almost takes out his teammate. Oh man.
He damages him pretty hard and spins him out. So I guess like Keselowski for the win.
Essentially he did.
So Keselowski for the win. Keselowski is our new favorite driver. I should just did like a picture of Keselowski and just like had a smile like Oh, a side note. I know this is totally random. Joey Logano looks weird in the black car. Can we like always have him have shell? Like,
yeah.
Never put him in a Verizon car, because that looks so weird. I don't know why.
It doesn't tailor him at all.
Like, I know it's just like literally the same Verizon cream that like Keselowski and fucking Austin Cindric did, but like the 22 black, no, please no.
Into the competition caution, which we had a little talk about that. I texted Zach like as soon as the competition caution came out, and I'm like, you know, I really hate competition cautions, and because I understand what they're for, right? But at the same time, it's a road course, and on top of the road course, like the strategy there, it just I don't know. I don't think competition cautions help anything at this track at all.
Well, competition cautions, like in the early days, were just like if we had rained out qualifying or practice or something, they would do
Right.
like around lap 20 or so competition caution to test tire wear and shit. But now they just
Which is
have,
understandable.
because got to get another restart essentially. But
Right, because we don't have any qualifying or practice before the races.
yeah, so hopefully they would go away next
I
year
hope
with
they do.
the return of qualifying. But we'll see, because stages probably never going away. So always have to deal with that in some capacity. If it's 3 or fucking 5 or 10 or however many they want to do, or if they want to do 2 or whatever, I don't know. So
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of my take on that competition caution that they had. And I mean, again, I understand the point and I get what it's there for, but at the same time I just don't think it really helps too much.
right.
And plus it's just in the middle of nowhere and it's like, oh, well, I mean,
Well, yeah, we don't want to see the full 20 lap stage. We want to see, got to get those competition cautions. Got to get
right,
that.
we got to get our commercials.
Yeah, we got to get DoorDash money, bro. Come on. Or PetSmart.
So, leading into the competition caution, Joey Logano was leading. Then, just going a little bit further ahead of the comp caution, nothing too much really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Keselowski had more brake issues and almost spun himself out into another corner.
Yeah, and then Blaney self-spun. And then
Yeah.
James Davison just stopped. I think they said he was having alternator issues. I'm not completely sure. Then Truex won stage 2. And then stage 3 was pretty fun. We had Truex, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson all fighting. But the lap before that, Eric Jones actually spun around. So we had Eric Jones spin. He had a bad finish. And then Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. I'm kind of interested to hear your take. I think it's kind of more or less a racing deal, to be honest. Kyle Larson kind of just threw it in there. I mean, to be fair, he did have a nose in, and Christopher Bell just kind of drove down like he didn't have anything in there. I know it was like a super late move, and I probably would have been pissed as well as Christopher Bell. But I guess it's kind of like a racing deal. Kyle Larson was there, but he just kind of threw it in there. But he was there at the start of the turn, and he was locking up his tires to keep off of Christopher Bell. Just got into him. Christopher Bell didn't really give him any room as well. So I think it was kind of more or less a racing deal, but I could see why Christopher Bell would be pretty fucking heated, to be honest. I don't blame him, because it just kind of, from his point of view, it's just Kyle Larson kind of just threw it in there. But from Kyle Larson's point of view, or even TV's point of view, I mean, he did brake super late, but I mean, he did have a nose in there. So, whichever side of the coin you flip on is basically what you think of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same side as you though, because it's a racing incident. Larson did stick his nose in, and Christopher Bell did leave him no space. So I mean, it was just like it's almost like one of those incidents that you would hear about where somebody's like, "Oh, well, he should have let off," or the other guy should have given him more space. It's like either one of those guys could have done either one of those things.
Yeah.
And it kind of, yeah. I mean, it makes, that's what makes a racing incident a racing incident. I mean, there's nothing you could really control about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was I know it's still ways to go in the race. You have another pit stop at least, and then it's just, if that happened to me and I was Christopher Bell, I'd be pretty heated too before I actually seen the replay. And I'd probably still be heated even after I seen the replay. I'd be like, he just threw it in there. But then if I'm Kyle Larson, I'm like, dude, I'm there, I'm already turning all the way right. What else do you want me to do? I'm sorry I got into you. But it just, yeah, it's more whichever point of view you had during that, it's kind of just like what you view of it, So
Right.
I think it's more or less a racing deal. But Christopher Bell was pretty pissed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he had all the right to be.
So I wouldn't be shocked if we might see a little bit in the playoffs. Christopher Bell might race Kyle Larson a little harder. I don't know if any contact would come involved. I mean, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe like definitely kind of a race hard. And then you also got to think like Christopher Bell threw a huge block too on the backstretch. Like that was a huge block. I'd be pretty mad too if I got blocked like that. That was all the way to the wall. But both guys defending their position. One locked up the brakes and got into the other guy. So racing deal. One guy views it. Well, both guys don't really view it as that. Well, I don't know how Kyle Larson views it, but I know Christopher Bell definitely doesn't view it like that. So I guess we'll see if this persists into the playoffs. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Moving a little bit more forward, Keselowski and Logano. This is where that happened. Keselowski he had issues the entire day with. I don't know if it was just the car in general, but I know for sure that he was having brake issues, and then I think he was kicking it a little too hard at one point, and then spun himself out. But at this point, I mean, he basically just dumped his teammate.
It looked like he had too much brake bias, and like he had too much like front brake bias, so like the rear started wheel hopping and stuff when we get on the brakes hard. So it looked like he had too much brake bias. Either I think it's in the front if the back wheels are hopping like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think if it's front brake bias, the rears will bounce like that. But if not, it's the other way. If there's too much rear brake bias, and then the wheels will hop like that. So it's mostly too much bias on one side. Basically caused him to wheel hop, it looked like, because both instances were wheel hop, especially the front, like the competition caution. You could really see him bounce and then kind of spin out. Even the second one when he hit Logano, like you saw him spin out, like totally the rear just spins out, and he tried to stay off of him, and just like Logano just happened to be turning there, when he.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it wasn't his fault. It's just.
Yeah. I wonder if
it was unfortunate.
I wonder if Keselowski really cared, to be honest. I don't see any interviews he gave after, so I don't know if he's like, oh, I'm sorry, then you got into Joey or whatever. But
yeah, I'm sure he apologized to Joey, but outside of that, I don't think.
Does he
I don't think anybody really cared, to be honest.
I don't think he. I mean, why would he care? I mean, so they're only gonna be teammates for another 10 races. I know he definitely did it not on purpose. It just too much brake bias. But if it was his teammate a couple years ago, he'd be like, oh my god, I'm sorry I ruined your day, blah blah blah. You had the stage win, you had a fast car, could have had a good finish, blah blah blah. I just wonder if he's like, it's just brake problems, and just went away. It's kind of.
I guess theoretically he should be happy that it was Logano and not Kyle Busch.
Well, I mean, not Brian Newman, because he's got to take care of his Christopher Buescher, Chris Buescher. I don't know why I said Christopher Buescher, but yeah, I guess he just looks up for Chris Buescher now.
Yeah, maybe.
So, so what do you give this race? Because I mean, Kyle Larson wins. Chase was trying to chase him down. He gained 7 seconds or so. Yeah. Even with
especially when he came up on the lap traffic.
Yeah, and then I kind of made an interesting view of this. So, do you know which 2 cars went to the rear in this race?
One was Chase, and the other oh man,
Joe Gibbs' car.
I don't remember.
20 car. So.
20 car. Oh, okay.
This is kind of interesting that both cars were made in the back and had zero problems driving all the way to the front. I mean, we know Chase Elliott is a great road course racer, but I know Christopher Bell won the Daytona road course, but like, do we really view Christopher Bell as like a top road course ace? No. I mean, do you?
No. I mean, like, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I mean, like,
I don't.
I mean, he's not a Chase Elliott. He's not a Truex.
I mean, he's good at road courses, but it's not like he's the best at it. Like, yeah.
So, like, we already know that cheating or bending the rules happens in NASCAR. So, basically what I heard from the garage area is that those windows that got taken out of Chase and Christopher Bell's cars were so obvious they could pick it out even before they fucking rolled in the inspection station. So, I think it's just kind of interesting that the 9 car or, like, someone else gets sent to the back and then they're immediately just plowing through the field.
Yeah.
So I just think, I mean, they're going to make one thing obvious and then the next thing, like, that actually helps the car a lot. You know, they're going to be like, oh, you know, NASCAR caught a window, darn. You know, something else is in the car. I mean, I know he didn't win, but, like, he was still, I mean, Christopher Bell was fighting for the lead. Chase Elliott, you know, gained 7 seconds on his teammate. He was probably not running hard, but, you know, Chase Elliott was such in a hole. He had to even pit because he flat spotted his tires, and he still finished second. So,
yeah.
I think we gotta harshen up the penalties a little bit in NASCAR. Like, if you failed inspection, like, immediately your crew chief gets suspended, and like something else like that. We gotta like bring up the punishment a little bit because, you know, to be honest, I know Chase Elliott's like lost some like points and it has hurt him in the standings, but like when you rather lose 25 little driver points when points really don't even matter and to get an extra win, then you boost yourself up in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, what all did he really lose? He lost those points, a little bit of money to him at least. It's a little bit of money.
Well, I mean,
and then you also have, I mean, he just started in the back on a track that he knows that he could win.
Yeah, I mean, it's $25,000 to Rick Hendrick is fucking $10 to us.
Right.
And it's like, ooh, you know, I think we'd all, you know, pay like $10 to maybe have our car have a little bit of advantage, you know?
Right.
And then, you know, the crew chief getting suspended. I mean, where do you think he went? You just think he went, oh, darn, we got caught. Oh, shucks. Well, you know, I'm going to go on home.
Here's the interesting thing, though. Because technically the only thing he's not allowed to do under suspension, from what I read, was he wasn't allowed to talk to the team over the radio.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, we all have iPhones or, like, smartphones or, like, a texting device. What do you think he's doing in the hauler? Hey, whatever your name is. Pit Chase on lap 43. Like, what do you? I mean, what do you think he's doing? He gets all the data as well. You know, I'm sure Al Gustafson is not sitting in his hauler looking at the iPad data that he's probably getting real time from the team, and not like I'm fucking calling someone. Hey, have him do this. Hey, guy, do this. Hey, Chase, Alan told us to do this. All right. Like, what do you think? I mean, it's just like, it's kind of goofy. This, like, crew chief suspension. It's like, oh, you know, I'm sure they're just sitting at home with their hands in their pockets like, oh, darn. You know, I'm really...
Yeah, no, not nearly that.
Like, if my crew chief ain't getting suspended, he ain't trying hard enough, to be honest.
Right.
Like, if he's getting suspended a little bit, I'm like, oh, this guy, we got some shit in the car, man. Be like, yeah, I'd be driving faster probably. I'd be like, hell yeah, this is a fucking winning car right here. I mean, if my crew chiefs get suspended, I mean, obviously not every week, but like, you know, he gets suspended a couple times. Rick Hendrick's got to pay like $25,000. I'm sure Rick Hendrick's like, hey, you know, if you put a little bit extra in the car, I'll pay the $25, you know, real quick. We got it. Rick Hendrick has like a fund of just like getting caught. He just pulls from the bank. It's like his other account. He's like, oh, we still got, you know, $200,000 left in like inspection fees. Okay, you know, a little bit for Chase this week, a little bit for Alex next week. Kyle Larson, you don't really need it yet. If you finish second, let me know. We'll put cheater in your car. William Byron, here's a little bit for Byron this week. Byron finished fourth, so like they don't check out your car after race. So just top three. You'll be fine. Just finish fourth.
Oh, man.
But I mean, like we're not dumb.
Yeah.
Kind of know what they're doing. It's putting a little something obvious, like, hey, let's put a 10-foot spoiler on it, but then have like something out like lead in the car. They'd be like, oh, you got the wrong spoiler. No. This is Bristol, and you have the 10-foot spoiler on there. No, we don't. All right, Rick. Sure thing. Just take the spoiler off. The rest of the car's fine. All right, no problem. Change that spoiler. Oh yeah, Alan Gustafson suspended. Another $25,000. Ah, darn, Alan. Looks like you have to go home on the private jet. Can't do anything. Just gotta be a good boy now, Alan. Okay, Mr. Hendrick. Okay, I'm gonna sit at home and really think about what I did. Goes in the hall. He's probably sitting next to Rick Hendrick. Like, hey Rick, what do you think we should do this pit stop? Oh, you pinned him, all right. Calling like the Rick Ware guys, like, block up the track. Be like, hey, can you guys crash like really quick? Can you lose a motor? Chase is like almost gonna get lapped here. But a little goofy conspiracy theory, but like, I mean, we know what happens, with the cheating and stuff. It's just interesting that, both cars that get sent to the back is both up front. I wonder what's in those cars. I'm sure they're pure and legal,
Okay.
I'm sure they're purely...
Are we talking about NASCAR?
Yeah. I'm sure they're purely stock. They have done nothing. It's not like, literally 60 years of NASCAR, they've had purely stock cars, We're a pure sport,
Yeah, there's no way.
But, I mean, Chase Elliott's still good. Anyways, a couple points to knock on. That you didn't knock on because you're fucking stupid. Just kidding. That was mean.
Whoa, okay.
I'm sorry. That was mean. I'm aggressively mean sometimes, but I love you, buddy. How do you like the radio style broadcast? Like, kind of Letarte on the front stretch. Then we had Mike Bagman from MRN. And like the, I guess, what was it be called? S's. Then we had Junior in the bus stop, and then Burton after that. How do you like the radio style broadcast? Kind of like switching off in between, all the guys. How'd you like that?
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of think it was perfect for the road course because it's not like they're just up in a booth looking down at the track.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally at different parts of the track, and it's like, oh hey, Davison is off over here. And it's like, oh, well, what's going on, Junior? And he's like, oh, well, it just seems like his car won't fire back up.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to have that engagement rather than it just being like there's guys up in a booth while everybody's watching the same exact thing of each car going around the track. Like, I don't know. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, just like they usually do this at Watkins Glen. They also did it once, I think, at Pocono. It's a little weird at Pocono. But I kind of like how they do it with the Glen, like how they have Junior in the bus stop, Burton after him. Usually Letarte and Rick Allen's on the front stretch, and then they have Bagman. Bagman's a pretty good radio announcer for MRN. So he's like natural to it, and the other three guys are kind of like, ooh, this is kind of, a little different. But I kind of like how they give, different points. Junior talks about, the run going in the bus stop, and then Burton kind of takes it over from there, and, I think it kind of flows better, Would we ever see Fox doing this at like Sonoma? No. So, another point NBC for broadcasting superiority. And then what else did I want? Oh, and then the bus stop, the back cam, I think it's called, or whatever. Like the camera that's like on the fence, or like drone camera or stuff. That camera's really cool. I really do like that shot. Kind of like how it's like car level, like between the bus stop and stuff, and you kind of see the battle. I think it's called the bat cam, they called it, or whatever the camera was on the bus stop. Guys were talking about. That was a pretty cool camera. I think they've used it before, but it's just like, again, pretty good camera work, kind of showing us the different angles. It's just something different. It provides for the broadcast. It's like, we could see a different angle of the battle. You can kind of see the full shot of the bus stop. So we're like, ooh, Kyle Larson's a little better here. Is he gonna get him out to the carousel? And then it flips over to the carousel camera, and we're like, oh, he's got to run.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too, because I don't know if it's just I like seeing the cars at like the level that they're at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those cameras are really neat.
I
do like the top down here and there.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
I do like those. I do like the cameras, especially at the Glen with the bus stop.
Yeah.
I would like it at the road courses. I don't know if it if we do it at like Charlotte or something, like the oval. Like, I don't know how that would look. I think they've done it a couple times there.
I also don't know how that would work, because it would be
kind of far away,
Yeah.
I know the bus stop's kind of far away from the railing, but it's kind of cool, See, and plus they're going slower. They're only going like 100 instead of 170, around at Charlotte. So.
Right, and by no means should they change the other cameras, because I think even the fence cameras that they have at regular ovals, those are pretty nice.
Yeah, they got good camera work, so gotta get that like 8K camera slow mo. But what'd you give this race a rating? What rating did you give it?
I was battling between two ratings, and I ended up going with the higher of the two, because especially near the end, where we had great pace between the top three cars.
Mm-hmm.
I just found that to be enjoyable, like a lot more enjoyable than you would normally think. So I ended up giving this race an 80.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean,
I think that's
I think it deserves it, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probably our highest road rating this year. I gotta look at the data. I mean, you have all the data and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I do have it.
Yeah, I think that's our highest road, because I'm gonna rate mine similarly. It's not gonna be 80. With our rating system, 75 to 89 is a great race, and I think this was a great race. So I'm gonna rate it as 75. Pretty good battles between the field, and yeah, it was just fun. More love Watkins Glen. Definitely, probably my favorite road course that we have on the schedule, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was Watkins Glen. Now we're gonna move on to some questions. Kind of a shorter race if we look at it. Should this race be longer, shorter, or stay the same?
It's honestly perfect for a road course.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's short, but I mean it's a road course. Road courses aren't meant to be 3-hour, 4-hour races,
right?
Like a normal oval would be. So no, I think it should. I think it should just stay the same. To be honest,
couldn't agree with you more. Perfect. Just over 2 hour. Good race. Honestly, if we look at it, it's like, oh wow, just over 2 hour race. We want some more racing. That's how you should feel.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Indy road course to come up, Can't wait for that race or the next race or whatever race is next. Like, oh man, can't wait for it brings momentum. It's people like 2.5, just over 2 hours. People are like, okay, they're short enough to consume. About movie length. Was entertaining throughout the whole race. It's like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I guess, might as well tune in next week, when I see these NASCAR boys. But talking about Indy road course, do you believe NASCAR should go back to the Indy Oval or for the Brickyard 400 or stay at the road course?
I guess I'm a little indifferent about it, because I don't know how much more of an impact it would be just to have it straight up Indy Oval.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do think it'd be about the same length, right? Or is the road course a tad bit smaller?
The road course race would probably be shorter than a normal Indy Oval race.
Okay. Well, I guess here's kind of what I'm thinking it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
It mainly depends on if NASCAR thinks road courses are pretty much the way to go. You know, we have 4 or 5 every year, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know how they're gonna talk about it or what they're gonna do for it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're saying that we'd rather have more ovals over road courses, I would probably say that this would be one of the ones that most people would be. I don't know. That is actually kind of a hard question. Because I feel like a lot of people would be mad that it would go back to an oval, but then a lot of people would still be happy because it's Indy.
Right. Yeah, it's just so the Indy, like the Brickyard 400 there's been a lot of misses, last decade or so. I mean, there's been some, like a couple races that's been pretty good. 2017 was like a chaotic mess, but it was almost like a meme. But it's just like, I didn't think I would feel weird about going to a road course, but not going to Indy Oval feels weird to me, and I don't know why. I guess it's like nostalgia or stuff. Because like the Brickyard 400 was a huge race, especially when I went, because that was my first race that I ever went to, was the 2005 Brickyard 400. I saw Tony Stewart win his first Brickyard, which was super cool. My dad's a huge Tony Stewart fan, so that was super cool to experience that with him. I was like junior, and he got in a fucking crash. I like the back because 2005 sucked for him. Anyways, between my childhood trauma and now. But it just feels weird not going to like the Oval. I know like the Oval did not put the most exciting races on a lot of the time with the stock cars. But like, I don't know. It just, I can't call it the Brickyard 400 with the road course because it's not. If they did have to take one road course off, unless this race is like absolutely amazing and like, a god tier race, I think I would rather have the boring oval, to be honest, because I think it's just like a lot of history, like racing.
Indy's a classic.
Like racing at Indy, like no one's like, oh, we're gonna race at the road course. Like, no, they want to race at the huge oval, man. It just I don't know. I didn't think I would miss it as much as I do, but it's just like, it's weird going to Indy and being like, oh, we're racing on the road course. Okay. It's just.
I guess it's really gonna come down to Sunday.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but if it has an amazing race, then I might change my thought in that, because I haven't seen our cars, like the Cup cars, on the Indy road course. So before I pass judgment, I guess I should like see how it is.
I kind of want to see if it's as live as Nashville was. Now, I know Nashville was not a road course, but I mean, just everything, like the energy, the drivers were all completely pumped up. Energy inside of Nashville was just amazing.
Yeah, I can say I would probably put money on it, but it's not.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but I just like it would be, I guess it would be a nice additive to it if it was that way.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, but Indy with NASCAR, it's kind of, the excitement's kind of dwindled down, I would say.
Yeah.
So I don't see people getting super hyped for a road course, to be honest. But I guess
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how this race comes up. But yeah, then we move on to the news. Actually, some sad news that we have. Longtime motorsports announcer Bob Jenkins dies at 73 after battling cancer. He was a NASCAR announcer. He did a whole bunch of Indy 500s. Just a legend in the motorsports world. Just sad to see cancer take another great man, great person, So it was like, I was too young to kind of experience his voice, but I've seen like highlights of stuff of Bob Jenkins, So it's just sad to see, that another motorsports, kind of hero or like mentor towards a lot of people just kind of passed away. So rest in peace to Bob Jenkins. But now we'll move on to Indy road course. So we kind of got into it with the oval. I don't think it has the prestige as the Indy oval does, but we have another road course. So new track. Shouldn't we get practice with this? I'm pretty sure we do.
Practice and quali. Yep.
Sweet. So we'll have practice, qualifying, see who's fast. Probably you got to guess the usual road course guys like the Elliott or Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch has been pretty fast there, and Chase Briscoe won the Indy road course last year, and then we have Allmendinger and Cindric in this race as well. So we got a whole bunch of road course guys we can pick. So yeah, I think it should be a good race. I don't know what to expect. Xfinity race last year, and it was a pretty good race. Good battles anywhere. So hopefully we see the same, kind of like how we saw with Watkins Glen. I hope people don't kind of down it because it's not the Brickyard 400, it's the road course. So hopefully people give it a chance. I'm definitely going in with open mind. Road course racing has been, I guess, pretty solid this year, we'd say, in all. So hopefully another solid, new, exciting track that our NASCAR Cup Series drivers have to battle. Who do you pick this weekend, Brian? Who is the favorite for you?
I just needed a solid pick for this week, and somebody who has been at least pretty good in road courses so far this year, and that for me was Kyle Busch.
Okay.
As for a dark horse, I ended up going with Josh Bilicki, because you never know what can happen.
That is a super dark horse.
Yeah.
I mean, you could choose another dark horse if you really wanted to.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not like in reality, we're going with dark horses for the race, and it's just, hey, you never know,
Yeah, you
the
could.
seas could part.
But all right. So I'm probably gonna choose. I'm gonna choose Chase Elliott. I think he's just gonna be fast. Road course ace. Kind of get to confirm pick. I think he's just gonna be fast. Oh, actually, never mind. Changing my pick. Going with Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson.
Yep, I think he's going to win another one. He's just too fast this year. Also, we got to watch out for how Denny Hamlin plays this race, because him and Kyle Larson are tied for the points lead. So if Hamlin's not first, he's dropping to like 13th in the points standings. So these next 3 races is going to be really huge for Denny Hamlin to either get a win or outpoint Larson. So expect them both to kind of bring their A game. But I think Kyle Larson is going to win another race. Hopefully I don't eat my words and Chase Elliott actually wins, because that would suck. But for Dark Horse, we kind of had a meme going, me and Brian, before the podcast, that we're going to choose like super back markers. I was going to choose Quinn Houff. So that's going to be my Dark Horse. So it's going to be Quinn Houff versus Josh Bilicki, because why not? So we'll see who wins off of that. Probably Josh Bilicki, but it's going to be the daily Quinn Houff versus Rick Ware shit boxes. Brian gets any of the shit boxes he can pick, and then I get Quinn Houff. So come on, Quinn, don't let us down. We're going to be riding with you. So I hope you do well, man. But yeah, that's it for the podcast. Don't have much else to say. I guess we'll see you in Indy. So
I do want to say one thing before we head out. I apologize to Tyler Reddick for what I said last week about us and Dylan possibly outscoring him. It's not that it started looking possible, and then Austin Dillon didn't really do it. So.
Hey, he only lost a couple points. He's only 15 points back. So.
Yeah, he's only an extra 10 points behind now.
Anything can happen. So
anything can happen.
Another playoff thing to look at. Tyler Reddick is on the cut line. He is 15 points above Austin Dillon. Everyone else has to basically win, and you're in. So we'll see. This could be a wild card track for that. Don't look over Chase Briscoe, because he did win here last year with Xfinity. I know they're gonna have all practice and qualifying, but don't look over Chase Briscoe. He could definitely steal one. But thank you guys for listening, subscribing, liking, emailing it to your friends. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for everything. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.